The broadcast began with silence. Not the peaceful kind, but the kind that comes after cities die and oceans burn. Across the scattered human colonies, those still left breathing, the signal flickered onto every screen, every comm relay, every vessel that still carried Earth's signature code. A voice followed. "This is Commander Elias Ward of the Terran Defense Accord. If you're hearing this, Earth has fallen." The words rippled across the stars, through every trade lane, embassy, and military relay once bound to humanity. The galaxy listened, and trembled. Part 1: The Last Dawn. For nearly a century, humanity had played by the galaxy's rules. We joined their coalitions. We obeyed their trade pacts. We bent to their councils and peace conventions. The galaxy called it integration. We called it survival. The Vehlari Empire had promised us peace in exchange for resources. Plasma cells, gravium, the rich ores of Mars and Titan. In return, they gave us protection, technology, and a seat in their Grand Council. For a while it worked. Humanity expanded, confident and naive. We believed diplomacy could outshine the need for war. Then they came for Earth. Not in an open declaration, but with precision strikes masked as pirate raids. Orbital bombardments disguised as civilian accidents. By the time the Terran fleets responded, half the world's power grids were ash. And the Vehlari called it a misunderstanding. But it wasn't. By the time we learned the truth, the Vehlari's secret directive to contain the human anomaly, it was too late. Earth's defenses crumbled under orbital siege. Billions died in the first week. I was in orbit when the blue marble burned. I watched continents vanish under kinetic bombardments, oceans turn to clouds of steam, and our moon shatter under their mass drivers. The screams of my planet echoed through comms before static devoured them. Earth didn't surrender. It simply stopped existing. Part 2: The Message. For the next 6 years, what remained of humanity scattered. The colonies on Europa, Ceres, Proxima, all went silent one by one. The Vehlari called it pacification. The Galactic Council said it was containment of unrest. But the humans who survived did not rest. They waited. I led what was left of the Terran Defense Accord. Barely 300 ships. Half of them patchwork cruisers held together by faith and scrap. We hid in the dark between stars, ghosts clinging to dying engines. The Vehlari hunted us but never found us all. They thought we were broken. They thought we were finished. They thought wrong. We rebuilt in the silence. We stripped their derelicts. We hijacked their convoys. We turned their technology against them. And when our time came, we didn't send a plea. We sent a message. It wasn't transmitted on diplomatic frequencies or sent through council channels. It was broadcast on the emergency distress bands, the one frequency every civilization in the galaxy was forced by treaty to monitor. Every ship, every planet, every listening post. The message contained only 2 things: a timestamp and a location, Sol system. No words of peace. No threats. Just coordinates and the symbol of Earth. The blue and white sphere with a single gray scar running across its face. That was humanity's final invitation. Part 3: The Reckoning. The fleets came first, the curious, the arrogant, the fearful. The Vehlari sent their peacekeepers. The Zealants sent scholars. Even the Threx Dominion, ancient enemies of the Vehlari, sent scouts to see what had become of the world once called Earth. They expected ruins. They found something else. When the first ships dropped out of FTL near Sol, they didn't find the broken husk of a planet. They found an armada. Thousands of ships, black, angular, silent, floating in perfect formation between Mars and what used to be Earth. Massive dreadnoughts with hulls of obsidian alloy, engines glowing like dying suns. The ships bore no banners, no markings, no visible life signs. The Vehlari fleet hailed them. No response. The lead admiral of the Vehlari, a creature of silver scales and arrogance, ordered his ships forward. "Human survivors," he said. "You will surrender." Then the human fleet spoke. "This is Admiral Ward of the Terran Retribution Command. Earth is gone. Humanity is not." The transmission cut off. Moments later, every Vehlari warship within range received a data packet. It wasn't a virus or weapon, it was a recording. Images of Earth burning. Children clutching their parents under falling debris. The final minutes of the orbital bombardment, recorded from the helmet cameras of human soldiers who never made it home. At the end of the footage, a line appeared across every screen. "You called it peace. We call it genocide." Then the human fleet fired. Part 4. The War That Shouldn't Have Been. The first Battle of Seoul lasted 9 hours. 9 hours that rewrote galactic history. The Vehlari fleet, numbering over 2,000 ships, was annihilated. Not by overwhelming numbers, but by tactics they couldn't predict. Humanity had adapted beyond their understanding. Their AI jammers failed, their plasma shields collapsed, and their command networks went dark. We'd spent 6 years learning how they fought. They'd spent 6 centuries believing no one could match them. Our ships weren't built for beauty, they were built to kill. We weaponized asteroid fields, turned debris into kinetic slings. Even the shattered fragments of the moon became railgun projectiles. When the last Vehlari dreadnought fell, its burning wreckage streaked across the void like a comet. We didn't cheer. We just watched. That was when the galaxy realized the truth. Humanity wasn't extinct. Humanity had been reborn, in fire and vengeance. Part 5. The Response. The Galactic Council met in emergency session. They debated whether to classify humanity as a rogue civilization. They voted to quarantine the Sol system. They issued proclamations of containment and sorrow. All the while, the message from Earth continued to broadcast, relentlessly, endlessly on every frequency. "This is Earth's message. We tried peace. You answered with fire. Now you will see the other side of humanity." Played every hour. Every world heard it. Every empire tried to block it. None succeeded. The Vehlari demanded vengeance. They assembled a grand armada, 5,000 ships strong, backed by allies and mercenaries. It was the largest fleet the galaxy had seen since the Dominion Wars. They launched for Seoul. We were waiting. Part 6. The Fall of the Vehlari. The Second War for Seoul wasn't fought in space. It was fought through it. Humanity had turned Seoul into a fortress. Every planet, every asteroid, every dead satellite had become part of a unified defense grid. We called it the Bastion. When the Vehlari Armada entered the system, we didn't meet them head-on. We let them advance. We let them believe. Then, as they crossed Jupiter's orbit, we activated the grid. Thousands of dormant defense platforms came alive. Swarms of autonomous drones poured from asteroid belts, invisible to radar. Wormhole disruptors fractured their FTL exits. The entire system became a trap, a singularity of war. The Vehlari called for retreat. Too late. We unleashed the Aegis Protocol, a fusion of stolen Vehlari tech and human AI. The protocol hijacked their fleet's communication arrays, turning their own ships against them. In less than 3 hours, the Vehlari flagship, Crown of Solitude, was vaporized. The surviving ships fled. Those that didn't were silenced forever. When it ended, Seoul was littered with wreckage. Vehlari corpses floated among the ruins of their pride. And humanity stood victorious. Part 7. The reckoning spreads. Word of the destruction spread faster than light. Empires fractured. Treaties dissolved. Species who had once mocked humanity now hid their fleets behind walls of fear. Every corner of the galaxy whispered one phrase. The humans are coming. But we didn't expand for conquest. We expanded for justice. Our fleets moved like shadows, liberating enslaved colonies, dismantling empires built on human labor, exposing the Council's decades of corruption. For every system that had betrayed us, we left a message carved into orbit. Never again. The galaxy began to change. The old powers bent. The new ones watched in silence. The humans, once dismissed as primitives, now dictated the pace of interstellar politics. And then, for the first time in generations, humanity stopped expanding. Because we found what was left of Earth. Part 8. The Last Return. In the shadow of the sun's dying light, the remnants of our home drifted, a broken sphere of molten crust and ash. But deep beneath the ruins, our probes found something impossible. Life. A small underground facility still running. Its reactors powered by self-sustaining fusion. Inside were thousands of cryogenic pods. Humans who'd survived the bombardment. Children. Scientists. Civilians. Sleeping through annihilation. When we opened the pods, they awoke to a galaxy forever changed. They asked what happened. We told them we survived. We fought back. They asked what became of Earth. We showed them the ruins, the blackened sphere orbiting a sun that had lost its warmth. And one of them, a little girl with ash still in her hair, looked up at me and asked, "Did they ever say sorry?" I didn't answer, because some truths burn too deep for forgiveness. Part 9. The Final Broadcast. Years later, when humanity finally stood as an equal among the stars, not by diplomacy, but by fear, Admiral Ward made one last broadcast. It wasn't a threat or a declaration. It was a reminder. This is Earth. We remember everything. We offered peace, and you mistook it for weakness. You destroyed our world. You buried our children. But you could not bury what makes us human. We are the architects of our own extinction, and our own rebirth. The galaxy will never forget that Earth once tried peace. And when peace was taken, we became something else. The message ended as it began, with silence. But this time, it was not the silence of death. It was the silence of fear. The silence of respect. The silence of a galaxy that finally understood what humanity was capable of when cornered. Part 10. Epilogue. Legacy of Fire. Centuries passed. The Vehlari Empire fell into dust. The Galactic Council became a relic. Humanity rebuilt, not as conquerors but as guardians. The Bastion remained, orbiting the remains of Earth, glowing faintly in the eternal dark. Pilgrims came from distant stars to see it, the world that burned and the species that refused to die. The plaque on the main defense ring read, "Here lies Earth, birthplace of humanity, destroyed in peace, reborn in fire, and remembered in the silence of the stars." Some say the signal still transmits beyond the edge of known space. A simple phrase that every child across the galaxy learns to fear and to respect. Earth sent one last message, and the galaxy trembled.